computer. All right, we are back at it again here. Kenyon Meadows, along with Ron Allen and Charleston Ramey, talking about the post Chaney college football and or life experiences after high school football. Great to have you guys on. Dear friends of mine, known each other for over 20 years, and in the case of Chuck and Ron, going back even further than that. We can elaborate on that a little bit. Chuck, as the newcomer here, why don't you, man, just talk a little bit about your experience at Chaney playing, and then we'll get into what's going on afterwards. I'll just say quickly and briefly, starting outside linebacker, 1992 playoff winning team. You take it from there, man.
Yeah, I was. Chaney's experience was actually a little difficult for me.
Okay.
I got to first say because the whole thing that got us there anyway. Everybody know that the crack epidemic exploded on our side of town and made us have to go to another whole side of town. So actually, to invade another culture, was one thing. The small town and everything, and I. From day one, I always understood the reason why I was over there, because the violence on my side of town, going to school, everybody know, I almost got shot in 8th grade, whatever, just going to track practice because a little tussle the day before, what I had nothing to do with. But, so I always knew my guidance in Chaney, that I had to stay there regardless what happened, that's what made it tough what I had to go through. So I dive into that a little bit, but we all had to. We couldn't play the first year.
Yes.
And the second year, I was just so excited to get back out there, saying just want to play, he was there, Ron was there. I played with Ron since what we were like Little League, Ron? What year was that? Because I was on the 120. Yeah. Ron was still on the 105. So I've been playing with him forever.
That was 6th grade, 1986 was the first year we both was out there. And then, of course, that 87 season, we were on the 120s together.
Yeah, so going to Chaney, I was kind of, with by being out of the football for a year, so I was excited to see going to a new team what was going to happen. I was like, I'm going to play receiver because I used to play tight end, so I didn't know if I was going to be able to play receiver. I played DN, and all the way through Ron, I'm the fastest dude on the team when I'm playing DN with my strength and my technique. So it's crazy. I'm like, okay, where I'm going to play, the defense back or whatever. But, once we got into it, me and Timmy Needham got into it, and coaches kind of got into it. So I landed at playing linebacker and tight end. And this was, being that coach over there, I didn't know. I just, from Little League, Ron knew I was one of the young guys that went in playing center. So I just thought, who the best guy plays. But over there, they had a system, what grade level you in, kind of who gave the most to the booster, who was around, who knew each other, all the connections. And me just sitting on the bench all them years, it hurt at times, because I almost walked away that sophomore year.
Is that right?
By not getting no burn, yeah.
Okay.
And that's what started. Me and Coach Mitch kind of got into it because I wanted to play receiver and defense back, and said some words that Timmy Needham probably shouldn't have, bragged a little bit. And next Burtis, he did take me in as a linebacker, and I played tight end. So. The thing with linebacker would kind of fit for, we ran at 4-4, me playing DN, I kind of knew exactly what to do. So the people above me, I just thought I should have played a lot more in Chaney, but I did. I stuck with it. In my senior year, I got to finally shine. I got to play a little bit. I got to play a lot actually, and got to shine and get that, because I just want to go to college, to try to get a degree and play ball. So that final year when I was able to show what I had, I was able to, say, okay, I can go to college and play.
So what I'm hearing though, ultimately is, played out of position to a degree, or at least from your speed factor. Because again, one of the fastest, if not the fastest guys on the team, and that was borne out in track season. And again, a little difficulty with the coaching staff there, and couldn't do the receiver DB thing. And you saying you just basically adopted to what was available, and you did have some experience, at least having played DN at the lower levels, to play in that outside linebacker in our scheme wasn't too big of a stretch for you.
Yeah, exactly. And then actually me playing tight end was the
Well,
thing too. So even though I did show, maybe tight end, I can get a lot of balls, but the ones Ron did throw to me, once you give it to me, I'm gone. So I felt like, he did abandon that. He just abandoned that over the years. He just like totally, that little drop in between those linebackers right there. I mean, yeah, if they miss tackle, you can at least get 5 or 7. If they miss tackles, you can be gone right up the seam. I mean, you got to hit that. You
hmm,
got to hit that a little bit. But that was the offense. So they weren't used to opening up the offense yet. So it was one of the things on that side of town that he was just started realizing, hold on, I got this talent and I can just open this offense wide open up.
hmm. So you mentioned, getting your chance to start, as a senior. I remember from the commentary on the highlight film, you and I both, had 5 sacks to lead the team. You had a lot of tackles for losses. You can just see that just watching the highlight film and everything. And as far as college aspirations, you were saying, were you really banking on getting a scholarship, or you like, hey,
Well,
I just wanted to play, or what was the?
coming from that low income kind of family deal, you need a little help going to school. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when I heard the Gus podcast, us not even knowing what's going on with this, what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And now nobody even to speak up for us because our moms, that they barely could probably name a position. She probably know what position I actually
Right,
play, even though she's
right.
cheering for me sometimes, what position I play. So not having that, whatever that father figure, uncle or whatever, next door neighbor, whatever, could really explain to us what's going on. And like I said, even knowing what level and dealing with me being at 165, what I'm saying? So when I was back, kind of like, man, you should have stuck with trying to get this scholarship or what? What I'm saying? But I never playing that DD back. So I knew going into these colleges, they looking at a guy that's 165. So I knew the D2 and D3 probably where I had to go, even though, our coach was shopping me and Ronnie that level, but Ronnie could have been D1 easy because he played corner. That's a different whole deal. He already got years of playing corner, by
Mm-hmm.
that time. But so I know going into that D2, D3 was gonna be my only level. And I had 1 year of film too. Got that 1 year of film. I'm 165 pounds, explosive, fast linebacker. So I'm like, okay, but where can I fit in at? Where can I go to school at? I just want to play. I just want to go to school and play. That was it.
Now, ultimately, right, you and Ron both wind up at Edinburgh University, Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, D2, big conference for that level of football. So, did you get and I know as Ron talked about last week, the common thing is to get a partial scholarship, generally speaking, on that level. Very few guys get full rides. So, did you get a partial coming out of
Yes,
freshman?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Give him some amount of money. The thing that we didn't even know till it all lined up that it's $15,000 to go out of state, by us going to PA and leaving
Hmm.
our home state. So
Yeah.
right there,
Yeah.
we should have
Hmm.
somebody with us, the guy that's even look at the numbers, like, hold on, you're gonna be maybe a little bit tight, a little bit tight. So I got a certain amount of money. I just have to play. Okay. And then I'm going with one of my best friends. So of course that was amazing.
Okay. Okay. Now talk about, the experience of getting up there on Edinburgh's campus. You mentioned, by position and all that, even for D2, probably, they took you as a linebacker, right? Were you thinking about, hey, I'm probably gonna wind up changing positions at this level, or it's like, no, I'll just bulk on up and try to make it as a backer at that level.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. The whole thing with that was interesting. I remember when me and Ronnie was in the car, and the guy was I don't know if he was taking us up there or back from there, but maybe up there. Then but we just asked him stuff about the college and different stuff. And he's talking. Then he named one play where I knew I was going to be a linebacker here. It must be going up there. It's because I didn't know what they was going to see. But when he made this one play, he said, "This one play we seen you on, where I was on the backside of a sweep or something that went the opposite way." You stayed in your lane. Somebody actually chopped me. I put my hands down, rolled over, got up. He said I stayed with it and wound up making the play perfectly. And the guy only got like 1 yard. He's like, from that play, the effort that you went all the way across the field, stayed with it, made that one play. It's like, yeah, He's gonna play linebacker. He like, we had linebackers like you before that they can bulk up. So I'm thinking at 165, I'm thinking, man, okay, 4 years. Even though my whole thing was trying to always bulk up in life, but I could never. I was just tall and skinny. So I'm like, but I was strong though. So I'm like, man, even if I put on 40, that's only 205. I'm like, okay, it's D2. Let me see what it looks like. So we get up there on campus and I see some of these dudes is huge. I'm like, man, I started thinking, these dudes on steroids? Or was he just the D1 rejects or maybe D1? These dudes are huge right here.
Okay,
So
so your first, because and that's the thing we talked about last week. What was the impression when you got onto campus?
okay,
And like you said, you obviously like, hey, there's some good size, there's some good beef up in here. Me at the D3 level, I was like, I can fit right
you
in
might be
here
bigger
and
than
just
most.
right. And so
You might be
it was
bigger than
like,
most.
okay, I don't, so like I said, I definitely think, I could have played at a higher level, but nonetheless, it was what it was. And Ron, did you feel that same way? Because y'all definitely had some D1 transfers up there, like Chuck was mentioning.
Well, when we went on the recruiting visit, one of the things that really put us over the top before they really talked about offering us is they kind of have a routine that they do for players that they are sure that they want to have there, but they want they don't know how they're going to move or whatever. So what they do is they'll send you over to play pickup basketball in one of the off-campus gyms. So they put us over in Crawford gym with the guys that were hosting us. So it was like Mike Sims, a couple other guys off of the team. But what we didn't know is they sprinkle guys off of the basketball team in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Chuck are on the same team, and we zipping up and down the court, a couple dunks here and there, whatever. So Mike Sims tells me later that when he was there to kind of put us through the paces to see how we would compete and what our athleticism was like. And when he seen me and Chuck getting up and down the court, getting up above the rim, blocking shots and all of that, he went back to the head man and told him, what he had just seen. And I think, that kind of solidified it for both of us for that weekend, when we went in to talk to Coach Holman by ourselves, because Coach Stokes came down and picked me and Chuck up. We didn't have our moms with us that weekend.
Mm.
And, we didn't really get to see a lot of the campus because it snowed very heavily. So we didn't know what the stadium looked like or any of that. We just kind of, we linked up with Eric Bankston and some of the guys that hosted us and got the student experience and like the off-campus party experience, and obviously that pickup basketball game and just kind of getting to know what the student life was like around there.
Okay. Okay. And talk about, your experience, Chuck, camp and in that first year up there, man, which wound up being your only year on campus, Well, let me ask you this, in terms of the transition, in terms of, getting the shorts on initially and then getting the pads on and everything. Did you have a thought like, hey man, I can be out here playing this first year, or did you need, you said, no, I need a year to get some meat on
Yeah.
me?
Well, this is a story I'm about to tell that was very inspiring, because I came in with a chip on my shoulder anyway.
Yeah.
Then leaving that meeting with that coach, what he told us, what he, because I didn't know what was going on. Like our parents wanted us that final meeting with the coach. What he told me probably was, he was like, I'm recruiting 5 linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I want you to be one of them. Now at this point, I'm seeing, I don't know if he's blowing smoke or what. I'm like, okay, regardless. But when they called and offered, I think Ron was going there, and the situation. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking it. He called on me, I felt it wanted, so I took it. So my first day on campus, when we come in early as freshmen, we got to come in a day early. First thing, the linebacker coach walked me around, take me into that gym, that big scale. He like to jump on that scale. I jump on there because the first time I just did some working over the summer. I really, wasn't hitting the gym hard. 165, but that was my playing weight. He's like 165. Why? I seen his eyes. I'm like, oh man, what's gonna happen here? He's like, all right, we're gonna get some weight on you, see what happens.
Yeah.
So the next day, not even just the next day, the big linemen come in. Did they surround me at that? We about to go eat. They surround me, and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, hey, every time you eat now, you got to eat with us. What? You come through the line with us. You can eat with your friends, but we're gonna teach you how to eat.
Right.
So right before we go in, they call me up there. I get up there, and they just really just start giving me all kind of. I got one entree. No, I'm getting like 3 entrees and telling me drink them build chocolate milk and milkshakes with the yogurt, drink it like that, and drink them with juice. Stay away from the pop, and so that's why I had to eat all the way going through camp. I started. I went from. I probably got camp park. School started, but I know at least by halfway season, at least 185 or something like that.
Oh,
just
wow.
Even working out, yeah.
Okay.
And then camp breaks out on the scout team, and what just happened to happen before we got there. That the gentleman Ron mentions Mike Sims, our linebacker, so I wanted to become pretty good friends with from the 1 year I was there. He had a accident playing pickup basketball back on in Pennsylvania, messed up his shoulder. Trying to dunk or something, messed up his shoulder. So now it's me playing who they recruited. They recruited this guy, LaShawn, also, and he played safety, but they moved him because he weighed more than me, moved him outside B because now they got an open spot. He was a veteran. He had the middle linebacker was All-American, Sean, and then he had Sims. He had this Mike Sims. He had this other guy, Mike Ed, on the other side, who they that I, kind of reminded him of me, but he was a little bit taller than me, but he was diesel. So I'm like, we got 3 top linebackers. Like when I'm going to camp, like I'm looking like these dudes is like Perkins only 5'11", but Perkins at least like 225 though. Like he knows what's going on. Mike Ed is like he 225, and Mike Sims was like probably about 230, 240. So I'm like, they're like, man, you gonna get there, just work out. So
yeah,
camp breaks out. Me just been on a scout team that we had an All-American running back that was 6 foot Larry Jackson that was 220, and they saying hit him up high, go hit up high, and he just rolls me, he rolls me a couple of times. I'm like, okay, but what made it worse was go back to the dorms that night. He walking through, everybody, relax. He started pointing us out. He like, oh, I ran that freshman over, and I was one of the freshmen he points to. And it just clicked. Everything just clicks for me. I look at Ron's like, nah, it ain't going down like this. No, no way. So I'm like, I'm looking at the situation like, hold on. Because my roommate was one of them backers they recruited, and he was kind of big. He probably was like 220, 230, but he went home. So
oh, wow.
my roommate, he went home too. So I'm like, hold on, there's a spot here. They don't want me to have it because of my weight. You know what I'm saying? Understandably, but then I just got rolled and I proved it. I'm like, let me play with leverage and see what happens here. I'm going all out. So Perkins in our meetings, the way he took over the film room, because in college you do hours of film room and practice. So he takes it over and breaking it down. I'm asking questions. He let me be able to tell when the lineman is when they heavy on they palm of the fingertips that they power drive, and when they light, they probably gonna pull. So on the team, you supposed to communicate, pull, before the play. So I realized real quick in camp, like second, third day, like, hey, a lot of these guys here been on the scout team their whole 4 years. They ain't getting off this thing. I'm trying to get off here. So I stopped even, I hate to admit it, but I stopped even calling out when I see pools because I'm like, let me look like a star on film.
Okay.
So me and Larry, want to be close friends. We got into it every day. I mean, they're calling plays. I'm shooting because it was a 4-3. I'm used to a different whole system. Even the first day, I got caught by this left tackle, Keg, who wanted to play in the
NFL. Yeah.
For the Seahawks. Yeah, and he was 6'5", 315 or something like that, I think, Ron. And first day I shot the gap. He caught me, but I was so low in my technique. We both just came up, and him being 6'5", just pat me on the head and say, good job, freshman. But I realized, hold on, he didn't take me down because of my technique. I just got to be faster coming in there. And I started hitting Larry waist high, and I'm murdering him. he gets so they call him franchise. He just threw the ball down like I'm done with practice and walks off. I'm like, man.
and he now for what I remember, he was a Division I transfer. He was getting the Cadillac treatment up there, right? So he could do that.
Yeah. Like I said, I never seen him play in the game yet, but I'm like, man, this dude just big baby, man. Whatever. I don't know why they call him franchise. He's softer than me now because I'm hitting him just waist level. Ain't like I'm doing. I'm not dirty hitting him below his knees. This is straight. Saying me put my head in front of him with that shoulder pad, wrapping him up, and he's not breaking this tackle, going straight down, soft for me. You know what I'm saying? So they bring me in the office the next day. It was like the linebackers coach. He was like, hey, great job. He's like, apparently you piss off the offensive head coach, and you're basically messing his practice up. He's like, come with me now with the first team. He's like, stay next to me. Like, don't even go down to scout no more. Stay away from his office. He was like, so that was like respect. I got that early.
Okay.
After that, I was a backup linebacker. I was down there with the real team. I wasn't scouting no more.
The real team. I love it.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to fight to get off that scout. And that's the number one thing. You want to just get on them special teams. You realize you want to travel. You know what I'm saying? And you got to fight your way, man. Like, for those positions, I mean, you just got to fight your way any way you can. You got to, the college all about show me something. And you got to show them something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can mess up all day, but you make a pick or something, they take that, man. They're all about production. Production is the number one thing, production.
Well, so you get through that, you make it onto the quote unquote real team as opposed to the scout team and everything. And as the season progresses, did you get on at least some special teams? Did you get some spot duty at backer? Anything that freshman year?
Yeah. I still made I made all special teams, so I was able to travel, and that's the first thing you want to do. So when the team leaves, you don't want to be one of them ones that got to stay out there. You want to be on the team, so I made all special teams, and I was still getting looked at just because of the weight thing. As my weight is trying to go up, I'm still behind Rashawn. So sometimes how that gets to go was a game going on and some of these teams running that buck sweep and me playing for Chaney and other teams. A lot of teams ran that buck sweep and I played DN and outside back. I understand it. So I remember my first action sitting on the sideline, but me and Ron kind of next to each other and I'm saying, we like, man, Rashawn getting killed. They come out these guards and they getting murdered, man. And we just laughed about next thing I know, man. Somebody just grabbed my helmet, taking my helmet off, and I'm looking around, and somebody just put the headphones on me. And it's Coach Nice. He's like, hey, you see what's going on? So I'll break it down to him. He said, yeah. The guard coming around, he come right through the whole. Sean is standing too high. He's getting murdered in the back. Come right through there. He's like, exactly. You're going in now. So I said, what? The headphones came on, my headphones back on. They just pushed me on the field, man. I remember it was like a third down or something, and these dudes, I remember the ball hiked, and I just stepped through the hole. I seen the big dude. I just went through the hole. I think I went so low and just knocked everybody down and made the play. And they all pat me on the helmet and run out the field. I'm like, oh, shit. I think I had to run back on the field because I was on that punt return thing or something.
Right. Okay.
I'm like, all right, I can play this. All right, that's some first little plays. You just feel like, you can do this.
You remember what team that was against?
I want to say, team was that against? It was a big running back. I don't know. I can't remember. It was one of the early in the season.
It was Clarion, Ron said.
Clarion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that how most of the freshman year went then? Some spot duty here and there, and definitely on all the special teams though. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I remember one game at home. I think that's California. Got in. Home crowd. So I really just one play I just hate myself on because I mean not playing 4 years. I only had that 1 year tape where me coming in as a backup, I sensed what was about to happen. The throw. I remember this throw to the outside, and if I'd have broke the way, if I'd have been normal, felt like I was a normal starter, I probably would have took it back 60 yards. But I broke a second late. Just make sure he throw it. I didn't want to, overplay it because in that scheme, your drops was major. But I came up made the play. But then I think I was that the game on that I think I took my helmet off and pointed to the crowd or something. Because I had to I had to get some variety there.
Wow.
So you gotta go campus, man. You gotta just be seen, because none of my teachers really like because I never wore no shirts to school. So until we started traveling, teachers I didn't want them to even know I played. I didn't know you know, how they felt about players, if they're going to hate us or not. So I try to stay away from that. So I had to
Mm.
travel and I had to go get my paper signed, and they looking at me like, "Oh, you play?" Like, you
Uh-huh.
think I even played, you know? Because I
Wow.
wasn't the biggest guy on campus. So yeah, but just, you know, it just felt good just to be out there in that grass. So just banging some of these guys, just think that, you know, okay, I can play at this level.
Wow. Okay. So you know, get through freshman year, and at the end of it and everything, this whole scholarship negotiation business that goes on from year to year at D2, uh, you know, when does that happen? Is that sort of like a immediately after the season thing? Is that after a spring ball
That's
thing, or you
that's
know?
after the spring ball thing. And I felt
Yeah.
just once again, I think I wasn't just ready to handle this whole thing by myself. But you know, when I because he's gonna, you know, I should have discussed it on your exit meeting. That's when like you're done with spring ball. You do
Hmm.
an exit meeting, and he don't. I think he don't bring the money up. So you should, you know, at that level, I guess I was so young, still learning. I should have brought it up to him, you know, because at this level, you got to think, okay, I did some spotting work, but that next spring ball was totally different because they brought in a new D coordinator that played for the Packers before. You know what I'm saying? He actually played corner, so he
Hmm.
had me coming. He had me coming like 75% of the time, if not more. I had the green light to just come. He changed the defense around, and I'm getting crazy sacks. And and what I was doing was kind of disrespectful on the field. Like it was this known fullback. I know he's from Indiana, so I know
Hmm.
he's out of yeah. So he's out of state, and I know they said he was on the full ride. I mean, this guy's potential was horrible. I used to run this guy over all the time and point to him on the ground, say, "Coach, this your full ride guy." So when the
Okay.
exit went, when he mailed that money to me, it was the same as the year before, and I'm like, I'm about to start and possibly have all these sacks and things, and this soft fullback in the full ride. I felt disrespectful when I wound up just going to watch too. I left, but it's the wrong thing. I should have just went in and talked to him like, "Hey man, what you doing? Give me my money. Give me my money."
Okay, so just to be clear, you know, so you have a great spring ball camp, and they have you basically coming out of spring ball as the starter at backer.
Yeah, like I had this calendar, and Ron, to tell you, we came out with the shave heads and kill destroy was in red on the calendar, and
Hmm. Hmm.
everybody was knowing. And the spring ball, I was not playing. I mean, many fights, me and receivers getting into fights and everything. I mean, I was aggressive and I was not playing. It was
Hmm.
all business. It was all, you know, I was laughing and joking, but yeah, you can talk to Ronnie and back up some of these things. So the
So
way I was coming out of here, I thought, yeah, give me all my money.
and again, if you just maybe say percentages, then like so like that freshman year coming in, that you have like maybe a fourth of a scholarship, and you would maybe expecting to get a half scholarship that second year, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. There was the money, whatever the money was, I know it needed to be like at least tripled up or whatever it was,
Okay.
because there's a certain amount. Yeah, because Bob's been out of state, you know, costs a lot more. Like if you're in state, you know, I think they only was like $6,000 or something like that to go to school. So a lot of
Hmm.
stuff matters. So you out of state, I really needed that extra money. You know, mom trying to barely can send me whatever I needed. I just needed enough so I felt comfortable to go to school. And plus, I was putting the work in. You know, work out from the gym and everything.
Right. And so again, you know, when they mailed you that the money, what it was going to be, and you thought it was the same, again, you mentioned, you know, you should have negotiated, talked about it, or whatever, but you just the pride and all that kind of stuff, just like, oh man, I feel disrespected. I'm not coming
Yeah,
back.
yeah. It was just so
Okay.
like, are you kidding me? Did you
Mm-hmm.
just see the spring ball I just had?
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm going with this? You know, at this point, I was 215,
Okay.
7.7% body fat. So I went 50 pounds up. You know what I'm saying? So, you
Wow.
know, yeah, I was 215, 7.7% body fat, you know, and yeah, let's go get it.
Wow. Okay. Now, Ron, you had a similar situation as Chuck in terms of the expectation for more scholarship money. It didn't happen, and you did basically negotiate per se. What would you say, it was more of almost like a threat for you to get yours?
Well, that came later on.
Hmm.
You know, so the year that Chuck is talking about, when he left, I think my money was the same as what they brought us in on for the second year,
Hmm.
and that was the first year that I was, a part-time starter. Into the third year, they boosted it up somewhat. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I needed or would have liked to have, but it was more than what I was getting those first 2 years. And then, as you play your way into, that dependable starter role, someone that they can count on. If you don't advocate for yourself, like Chuck was saying, if you don't speak up for yourself, that they'll hold you in that same pattern if you let them,
Mm-hmm.
to free up other money to try to entice new guys into the program. But if you're a person who is starting, or you're making a lot of plays, you kind of have to stand on that, almost in the sense of a NFL guy who's coming off of maybe that rookie deal, and then he's pointing to his stats, his starts, his level of production, where he ranks in terms of his position throughout the league, and then you use that as a bargaining chip and leverage to try to get them to give you some more funds. It doesn't work for everybody. If you're not someone that they feel like that they have to have or have to keep, they'll take a hard line stance and just say, well, I'm sorry to hear that, if you will. And you have new faces to come in and replace that person.
I'm just curious, Chuck, do you think that part of the reason you said, hey, you went on to establish yourself as the starter off the spring ball season? Do you think in their mind though, it's like, okay, yeah, Chuck's a starter, but hey, he's only maybe a little bit of ahead of these other guys, and so we got some, like Ron says, some replacements in case he's not there.
Yeah, the way I'm looking at it, like, hey, go tell the other guy who I'm keep pointing to all day, tell him you're taking his money and just give it to me. If it's all going by, we're going by Dutton, and I'm pointing this guy out to him, like, I'm pointing this guy out. This is your full ride. So I'm telling you all day long that this is your full ride. I want this full ride scholarship. So that's why it was so disrespectful, saying about me pointing out on the field in front of the whole team multiple times. The spring ball. I probably said it, Ron, maybe 50 times, maybe. This ain't like a one-time thing here. This is a 50-time thing. So it was like a real disrespectful. Like, I'm taking this dude's head out. And maybe that was part of it. Maybe my whole time there, I don't know, but we had other guys that known for 15-yard penalties. But I was doing it at practice. So I was too, what I'm saying? I practiced, maybe I was too aggressive at practice, maybe. What I'm saying?
So what y'all are describing to me, like, it's supposed to be like this pure meritocracy, but it certainly isn't, though, right? You got some guys, again, like at the NFL level, with a high level draft pick out of a pedigreed school, right? Like, you project a certain amount, and so you'll get a better deal, you'll get more looks based off of what you're supposed to be. But then when you actually get there on camp and everything, and you start measuring up with dudes that's there, and it's like, this ain't it.
First deal was major. Yeah, that first, if you get a great first deal, then you're good. Unless you don't play at all. That first deal is major. Whatever you get locked in at, that's where you're gonna stay at.
Well, to that degree, for some of these guys that they obviously missed on in terms of giving too much love, too much scholarship money to. Did you all know that they either yanked or significantly reduced some of these dudes that were busts, or once you got it, you got it?
Nobody really ever survived that. So if you were a person who kind of got more than what your play said, we typically hit you up out of the program. I'm serious. You just didn't see those guys return year to year, and most of it is because they just weren't happy with their playing time. They got supplanted or beat out by somebody else, and they just take that avenue to exit out of the program and either transfer somewhere else or just become a student.
Okay. And speaking of which, Chuck, you chose to just become, quote unquote, a student, which is, that's enough in and of itself. Now, you chose to leave Edinboro and go to YSU, was Youngstown State, so back home, as it were. Um, how much of a factor was, hey, I just, if I'm not going to be on the football team up here, I don't even want to be around in this environment, if I'm just going to be a student, or was it an expense thing? It was like, hey, I can live at home and go to YSU, like what, why not just be a student at the borough versus Youngstown State?
I mean, first of all, it was home, and then it's a lot cheaper. Like I said, it's $15,000 to just go there as a student. So I needed that money. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but even at YSU, it was so foreign to me because my whole life, I mean, I just remember going to school and playing. So not playing is just everything was off. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to do with this extra time. So
Well, with
so
that,
it was a lot
with
of
all that
things.
newfound size and just coming off of spring season at D2, but you had 215, the biggest you ever been there. I mean, did the thought go to your head? Hey man, I could walk on at YSU and try out, or
Yeah.
did you talk with any of that go to your head?
Yeah, that definitely, that first year I didn't know what I was going to do, and that definitely was what I thought. That next spring ball, that's what I was definitely going to do. And the Navy wound up getting caught up right in the middle of it because that season I was supposed to meet back with that coach, and when I went to go meet him, he had to go on a recruit visit. So when I came up there to talk to him, he wasn't actually there, so we could talk about that money. Then I wound up going with the Navy. But yeah, that if I'd have stayed one more year, I would have had to walk out for YSU just to craving to play.
Oh, okay. You said meeting with a coach. You mean somebody at Youngstown State?
Yeah, no, that was the Edinburgh coach. I actually did go back up there,
Oh,
like
you went back up there to talk about. Okay,
yeah. Because because once you miss playing, that's the whole thing. I just wanted to play and go to school, go to school and just play.
okay.
So
And so that meeting didn't happen, and the whole Navy bit. Why that as opposed to just continue at YSU as a student?
I don't know. I always kind of was intrigued by it. It was a hard decision at the time, and maybe I should have went to another school, what I'm saying? Like, but like 15,000 a little bit too much. But then the violence around YSU, what I'm saying? People got killed. There's just the cracker demo was still going on. It was just too much violence and drug dealing and stuff going on around me. I just had to get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? So it could have been a nice, lovely campus with no violence by being right in the inner city. Might have
Mm-hmm.
been a lot easier for me. Just sorry, I just want to stay right here, keep going to school, and walk onto the team and see where the chips fall.
Mm.
Because I did hang around a lot of the players. By having ties to a lot of players, so I did hang around with them. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my step, though. If it wasn't that much violence and stuff, I probably would have stayed right there.
Speaking of players, I mean, one person we hope to get on here, Dwayne Thompson, another one of our classmates who graduated with us, went on to start multiple years at YSU. I think he was a team captain. I'm sure you chatted with him. Was he encouraging you to try to come on out?
Yeah, definitely. And that's actually who I was hanging with a lot. So definitely, I knew, he's doing his thing, but trying to get back to Edinburgh. But I was like,
Mm-hmm.
if anything, I was gonna have to walk on there too. So
Yeah.
so either way, I just wanted back home. With him, Navy came and everything. I was like, all right, let me just I go do something different. I serve our country. It's kind of something that's always in the back of my mind, but never thought
Yeah.
you pull the trigger. And I guess like all young people that serve in the military, that same whatever that feeling is, whatever it is, you're like, okay, let me go serve my country. What I'm
Yeah.
saying? You go do it.
Well, let me say, Chuck, because when you left, that hit me hard because you was my right hand. You rarely saw one without the other that first year when we was going. But I always respected the way that you did it, and you having the wherewithal to make that decision early on based on finances and the perception that things were out of balance for you. So at this point, all these years later, uh, do you feel like you made the best decision for yourself? Being able to join the Navy, see the world, get started in the workforce, not rack up that residual debt that those other 3 to 4 years of playing up there would have cost you. Are you content and are you satisfied with the way things turned out for you in retrospect?
I mean, once you go through life, you expect whatever happened, but those 3 golden years of playing is just so magical that you can never get back. Regardless if you just playing college or you you go to league. You know what I'm saying? Them 3 years of the friendships I would have got in there was I just missed playing. I wanted those 3 years back. You know, because I actually considered it when I came out of the Navy, coming back in, get my 3 years back. Can
Yeah.
I get my last 3 years? Can I ball out? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but I love the military, seeing other countries, and so me got me a lot of different experiences and stuff like that. But yeah, but I wanted those those years too. College, you just want that contact. I want to see how good I could have got. Everybody. So I didn't get to finish that. That's what I wanted. That's what I did miss. Got to
Chuck
say, I
Chuck
think I did
Ramey
miss.
at 215 as a sophomore. That's a scary thought, man. Who knows what you'd have been at by the time you finished out there. Wow. You mentioned, Chuck, a couple of times, getting out of the Youngstown scene and everything, away from the violence and all that. What'd you think of, the for that, again, for the year you're up there, the Edinboro scene and community? I mean, did it feel sufficiently far enough away, different, adapting up there?
It definitely has some knuckleheads right there in
Mm-hmm.
Erie. Definitely knuckleheads right there. But even once you be on the campus, so you're so more secluded. Saying it was a more secluded campus. So
Mm-hmm.
a couple people might get into it here and there, but it really wasn't no violence. What I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
just college kids being college kids, it was good to have that there.
Okay.
No one would know crazy violence going to break out of no campus parties, if anything, fight maybe, but rarely ever. So
Mm-hmm.
just being normal. What I'm saying? Just be normal, normal college kids going to school, partying on the weekends. Going to pep rallies, having fun. And that's how college supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we know as I was at that, because I was at that one college party when Jermaine Hopkins got shot. When the guys came up from a
Yeah.
fight that started at a college party, and they came up there afterwards and shot into the house and shot the people that's taking the cake money out front. One of them got shot, one got away. I was on the porch, ran inside. So yeah. On
And,
Edinburgh campus, that was not happening.
yeah, and just for folks that don't know,
No,
Jermaine Hopkins, he was a starter, really good player on Youngstown State's team. And was he a South High grad?
no,
Where's
no,
No,
no.
he was
He's
from
from Florida. He's from Florida.
Oh, he's
Florida.
from Florida. Okay. Never mind. Okay,
Yeah,
got you.
emerging star that Mike could have went to the NFL. I mean, that's his talent was at the D and outside linebacker position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, you do the Navy thing, and obviously you talked about all the advantages of that. But nonetheless, had that regret about those 3 years that you know really can't
Yeah.
get back. And I think Ron, you mentioned there was an older gentleman in the PSAC that actually was he a decent player, and he had done the military thing, and he was older, like 27, 28 out there playing.
Now we had a lot of that. Even at Edinboro, we had a couple guys that had put in 10 years plus. Um,
Wow. Wow.
got out, used their GI Bill to come to school, played, a full college career, and then just went on with life. But the guy that you're speaking of, he went to IUP, Mike Marshall. He was a Desert Storm veteran. Uh, Matter of fact, I was just looking at the YouTube clip yesterday, and he was 6'6", like probably about 270 something at that time.
Mm.
He was a dominant player for that level of ball, but given his age, by the time he finished, he wasn't. No one's really looking for 30-year-old rookies in the NFL.
But nonetheless, a military dude that had put in all that time, kept himself in shape. That was a man out there
Uh, he, he he
Exactly.
was yeah he was grizzled. He played with absolutely no fear.
Yeah.
Uh, you run to his side. If you didn't have a double team on him, you were gonna get hit.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Um, okay. Chuck, could you touch on just yeah, again, only a year, but I'm sure you still remember it. The whole attitude about the whole student athlete thing, at scholarship level football. What was the attitude from, like, the coaches? How difficult was it? Uh did you feel that all the requirements of football, interfering with school? How'd you navigate that?
Yeah, I think that whole thing is very political very. Remember just getting on campus, even going from YSU, going from Edinburgh to YSU. Like the thing is, between the honor students and the athletes, you get the best teachers. I mean, these ain't the easiest teachers, but they just the best where they're gonna, I think, teach the best and understand the class. Like that was very valuable to get those teachers first. And I actually been in linebackers meetings where just us linebackers and the coach casually asks us in that 1 year, like, how everybody grades going. One guy said, "Oh, I got a little problem with so and so," and I mean, I just seen the coaches nice just clearly just turned around to his phone and looks at that name up on and dials a number and say, "Man, you got to meet up." And I'm looking like I don't know exactly what that means, but I think I know what that means. Like they gotta like talk and make sure that whoever this guy is that he's gonna be able to play. So make sure they work on that grades, I guess. What I'm saying? This was a casual like me, but like he just been right there, and just like called her up and said, "Yeah, but we got to set up a meeting so we can discuss so and so grades." I'm saying hangs the phone up and like you're going back through, make sure we're good. Then I seen like that guy Keg I mentioned earlier. I think I'm coming. He's a senior, coming a couple minutes late for practice, and the head coach like getting on him. "Come on, Keg, what the hell?" Then practice going on. I'm like, this dude about to graduate. I mean, you would think he put his time in. Cake knows what's going to happen on game day. I mean, this guy want to go to the pros. The head coach is like saying something to him in front of all of us. I'm like, that's when I realized, oh man, me and Raleigh were like, this is a business here. Like they really, they on the recruiting visit. Yeah, it's all about education, but nah, here you can't have no class past that start of practice. Man, they ain't playing around. Yeah, I wound up having to drop a lab because we had in the
Oh yeah.
mornings in spring ball. I had to go straight from that early morning 6 a.m. working out and running. Had to go in there like a 4-hour lab or something. It was just I was so exhausted.
Mm. Yeah, we had one infamous chemistry lab that conflicted with practice, but at the D3 level and at a school like Case, it was cool. Everybody knew about it, so you just come late that day.
Nah, you ain't coming late. D2, they were serious. The football was first. Like he said all that
Wow.
recruit visit, but we seen immediately we get on the star senior about this. We looking at like we're nothing. Like you do not miss practice. Don't be late to practice, man. He's
Right.
not going for that at
Right.
all.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you had to take them 8 a.m. classes in the morning.
Get it done.
Get it over with.
Just curious, Chuck, how did you, in terms of preparedness, what you learned at Chaney, technique wise, and that kind of thing? You kind of hinted on it already, but did you feel like you were, adequately prepared for making that college transition,
Yeah,
football knowledge wise?
yeah. I think just as a glue league, I think they taught me great technique. And I think Chaney he added to it a little bit. I was always great with my hands, like by playing pretty much that DN position. Once I get them inside you, I pretty much controlled you. And I think Burtis just he realized I had that ability, and I never seen him over the years crack down on the other outside linebackers. They played the way they was playing it, but he seen the way I was playing. He said I could be even better because he did have this one exercise I knew. We threw the bags back and forth all the way down the line, and you got to, the way you got to drop your hips and everything and stand, and that's part of that. Keeping that DN off you, and I think he really pretty deal with that. He just tell me when I had him, all right, now throw him away. I think he really got me the one throw him away, and sometimes I throw him into a fullback or whatever. Once I got to control them, then I could throw them away and go make the play a little faster. You know what I'm saying? And I think he helped me with feeling when the tight end really, it's all about the hands. So his hand technique was kind of good with us. Of when the tight end blocking down, you got to feel all that. Once you feel that, then you go to that believe in your technique. Because that guard is coming around, and that's why a lot of my collisions was for losses, like you were saying, because I'm attacking. When I feel that guy going down, I'm not even gonna let that guard drop down. I'm gonna catch him while he's standing up. Now I got him. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff the Birds did teach it. They took it to another level. And that's why I thought earlier on I grasped that, and I should have been in the rotation because I'm going to show you I grasped that. What's going on out there in the field?
Yeah.
Chuck, was there anybody that you kind of looked up to or patterned yourself after around Youngstown before you started playing football? Like I never really asked you what spurred you to play in the first place.
It was crazy because I was real young, they used to watch Pittsburgh Steelers games and stuff, but then my stepdad, he was watching the Browns. But then at the same time, that's why I'm a Bears fan now. Walter Payton and the Bears was out there playing, and I didn't know what position. Ron was there the first day I watched on the team, so little league team. So I didn't know what position. I like receiver. I didn't even picture myself on the defense side until I actually came out there and realized I didn't care about my body. That's what I realized I care about my body. And then they kind of just threw me in the trenches from day one, just because I'm a tall, skinny dude, but I was like my technique and my speed, I guess my strength, and how to keep them off me. I pretty much just always stayed there. So I guess once I went defense, I was like, okay, I'm just even though I had fitness of maybe playing as the safety or something that I'm coming down and covering stuff, but I'm like, man, I'm just gonna be a linebacker because that's why I was trained the whole time. So Edinburgh really let me be that real 4-3 linebacker where I can kind of drop a lot more and hit holes and different stuff like that and blitzing and different stuff like that. So yeah, I know where I wanted to play. Yeah, but it was the Bears. It was the Bears, watching the Bears and the Browns. Bears and Browns, just because I was there for the fumble. I remember the fumble. The Bears made that video, everything. So just to see how they work ethic, and I just wanted to play. It just inspired me to play. So next I know, I knew somebody, Mike Favors, and his uncle was down to Coach Ron and them. I came down there, and once I started playing, I just loved the contact. I mean, for some reason, I just loved it. I was like, okay, because it didn't make sense. I'm this tall, skinny guy that's playing football, but I just loved it.
Now, see, I got the advantage over everybody else in our group because I've seen you on every single team you've ever played on, which is crazy. Because we go back to second grade, so the first year because that age cutoff, we were obviously on different pounds. But when I think about like why, so you look at us going to Chaney and we're undersized but in Little League, you're one of the biggest guys on the team there, at that 120-pound limit, and you've basically been the same height since sixth grade. So, where we look at you in college or high school as a tall, slender, skinny guy, maybe a little undersized for an outside backer. Back then, you're like one of the biggest guys in our whole grade, and you're a little bit more mature than everybody. And then that second year that we played together, like it's unfortunate that we don't have film because the things Chuck used to be able to do with just like a little 5-yard pass or a end around. I've seen him take a tight end reverse 80 yards untouched up the sideline multiple times, and take a 5-yard out or a little shallow cross and take it to the house because he's always had that speed. And then you were one of the few of our class that was able to play at Princeton. The rest of us were ineligible and couldn't even be out there. So it's almost a sin that we didn't have anybody in our corners to kind of speak out for us and point us in the direction where would be the best fit for us position wise. Because if I ain't mistaken, you ran what, a 10.8 in the 100 in high school.
Yeah.
And then when I look at the stats from the 1 year that you started at Chaney, like you're second on the team in tackles with 83. You got 5 sacks. You got 3 picks, which was tied for second on the team. And then I play on the highlight film from South, and just that one little flash just shows it all in that one play. You have a tackle and a tight end that try to block you coming off of the edge. You split through them, you run over top of the fullback, and then you make a sack for like 8.5 yards lost. You know what I mean? So it's really a shame that your athleticism and your speed, and I always knew that you could catch. I knew what you could do with the football. If someone would have been able to hone that in and take advantage of it and put you in the correct position, there's no telling what you would have been able to do, as a deep threat, passing. maybe some kick return game, because once you had that ball in your hand and got going north and south, it was a wrap for most people trying to keep up with you.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. No doubt. Um, we're right at an hour. I mean, I'm definitely cool to keep going. I mean, anything, Chuck, that we didn't hit on, man, that you wanted to just, say for the record,
I think we covered about everything. What I'm saying? Just I didn't get them last 3 years in. I wanted to,
Hey,
y'all
man.
got it all out.
Transfer
Y'all
portal,
got it all the way out.
you might still be able to
Wow.
go get in that transfer portal.
Man,
Man, I'm 48 years old, dude. Like no real
that
physical. Like I couldn't even make it through a flag football season right now, bro.
would be
Hey, some
tough,
NIL money
man.
might change your name, change your
Oh my
mind there.
Yeah,
gosh.
best I can do is just watch it. That's all I
Yeah,
can do is just watch it.
that
Get
that
Office on agent to give you some seed money.
you know, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Ron, because I was, transitioning off to this other thing here. Where college football is right now, we all remain big fans of the sport and everything. How do you all feel about the NIL stuff, the easy transfer portal, conference realignment? We just had USC and UCLA join the Big Ten, which is something I don't think I ever would have envisioned. They basically say it's a done deal. Notre Dame is gonna be in there too. So, what do y'all feel about that?
I actually love it. I love the players can finally get paid. You know what I'm saying? They make it so colleges got so much money. I mean, they just drown with it. And these players come through. I mean, you let them eat off of it. Cause like I said, even with my position at a lower level, you know what I'm saying, that you need that money, so you just want to go to school, man, and be comfortable. Saying you want to be running around, me and Ron knocking on doors for ramen noodles, snacks, and becoming our parents sending us money, eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We grown athletes, so we need money. Boy, everybody, every level though, you just need money. If you can make it, you should be able to make it at any time. This is America. Capitalism is very strong here. You better get some from a lower level because they trapping you in. Because most people are gonna stay anyway. They make the money. They want to stay and play because they want to play. You know what I'm saying? They've got money now. You know what I'm saying? Might get them in more trouble a little bit here and there, but
Right.
but they're going to stay and play because that's what they want to do. They're still trying to make it to the league. So I think it's good for college football. Just open it wide open. Let's see how far this could go.
Okay. So you all now, you feel that same way, Chuck, like if you were playing D2 football now and maybe there's very little to no NIL money at that level, or Division 3 where I played, you still be cool with the dudes at the big level, making money.
Because that's all about whatever your brand is. Like because I came in and had a hot little song, or I made a certain kind of clothing, then I would get my thing, my D2. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
It's about who you are as your brand. Of course, some guys are just athletes, but there's some other stuff they can do. You know what I'm saying? Some other people, something they can get into. It's you kind of control what that's going to be. You know what I'm saying? But whatever your imagination and your ability, your gifts are. You explore that. That could go. That's what I'm saying. It can go anywhere. You can be on a D3, be a top person. Just being of how you grew up doing what you've been doing on the social media. You can be just playing. You acknowledge, okay, I'm not the best D1 athlete, but I'm still.
But I got a following.
Exactly.
I get my vlog popping, and
exactly. And that's what I love about it. You know what I'm saying? That at any level. Of course, the top levels is part we thinking is going to be the best, but depending on what you do. What kind of audience you got?
Okay.
For what level?
Does the conference realignment stuff, and again, most prominently now, the USC coming in the Big Ten or whatever? We're of that age where we've been following and been fans of the game for 30 some years or whatever. I mean, does that nostalgia about the Rose Bowl and the Big Ten and Pac-10 doing their thing, like, and all that stuff's being disrupted now? Does that bother you on the conference level?
The thing about it for me, like I'd say probably for the last 6 or 7 years, the game has looked totally different than the game that I grew up loving. So that taking the contact out of the game and
Mhm.
the toughness out of the game in the sense that you know you have to play downhill football. Some of the helmet to helmet hits and things that were just commonplace in our era. That stuff is gone. So for me, it doesn't hold my attention as much as it used to. So in that
Mhm.
in saying that, you know, okay, if you realign conferences or make different affiliations, it kind of doesn't do anything to make me watch more or less because the
Mhm.
game is so spread out now. I
Okay.
already know going into whoever they match up against anybody, it's just going to really be a wide open track meet and a whole lot of one-on-one tackling. So
Mhm. Mhm.
that traditional, getting ready for that old state Michigan rivalry and all of that. It to me, it's been cheapened by them opting to have television money over quality and consistency year to year, and really parity amongst the leagues because
Mm.
you get the same 4 or 5 teams hovering around the top 5 every year. You almost know who's going to be those last 4 before the season even starts.
Mhm. Mhm. No doubt. No doubt. Chuck, how you feel about the conference realignment stuff and traditional rivalries being thrown out and all that?
I mean, I kind of love the fact that they come from the West Coast. I understand why, because our conference is, being on the West Coast, you just don't get the media attention they deserve. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see always has talent. I think it just brings some more to the Big Ten. To me, I understand what Ron's saying. It do make it harder when you watch the game. Like sometimes it's bang bang, and you like, how could the defender defend what he had to do to make the tackle? So I understand Ron on that, but I'm still heavily big into these games, and I'll be watching them. And if you get a team like our last couple of years with Old State, for example, if you they recruit great on offense because that's what we always doing. But if you get back to the Bosa days, I
Mm.
mean, you get 3, 4 seconds, and that ball better be out, or you're on your back. I don't care who you, I don't care how many
Mhm.
fast break receivers you got out there. You get two of
Mhm.
them Bosas, different size, man. You coming at them like it could still happen. Even just it puts a lot of more pressure on the defense coordinator. I mean, you really got to know what you're doing. These techniques and stuff. I mean, it puts a lot of on right now in college football, the D coordinators and these corners, like you really got to go get some, D line. I think D line is always key to any level. D line and O line is always the key. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of these fancy fast receivers and the great routes. I mean, football is still football, even though it gets, you look like it's crazy, but them trenches. If you get them great, Ohio State got ability to, and we last couple of years we haven't went and got those number one D ends with that who was getting them for us? Myers. Myers
Mhm.
was getting those, and trust me, just go get them. We need those dominant guys. I mean, you need that number one DN, DN to go get them, so then we
Yeah.
can slow it down. And then and I know Ron just looked like it's tracking me because nobody really had a great defense. He can't stop it, and it's just attracting me. So whoever
Yeah.
get the ball last some of these games is who gonna win the game. But I
Yeah.
understand where it's coming from. I
No
respect
doubt.
it.
Yeah. I, I'm intrigued by the by this latest move. I think it's ultimately going to be a good thing. It's certainly going to bring in, they say, even more TV money because they're saying, like, when marquee programs like a USC and a Michigan play and everything, like the amount of people that watch it is so much higher than a normal conference game and that kind of stuff. And you just booked a lot more of those type of matchups.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, I've gotten
But
to the point. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do you ultimately think if they make it very top heavy, does it kill the other teams in college football where they don't matter? And now you're only
Yeah.
interested in 20 to 25 teams across college football as a whole.
Well, um, the short answer is yes. And when you look at, I've done a little behind the scenes research on this television business and everything. Yeah, when you look at the viewing habits of the general public, it's really skewed toward these, for the most part, traditional powers that have a legacy of being good, and they have these big alumni bases. So it's a lot better to be a Michigan, with that alumni base than it is to be, an up and coming program that might be doing better than Michigan, but you ain't been at it so long. Like the TV ratings bear it out. You know, a
Right.
mediocre Michigan is a much better economic uh, property than a red hot, I don't know, Coastal Carolina or whoever else is trying to make it come up. University of Central Florida or some of these other places where even the demographics would argue like they should be getting better because the population's moving there and all that. But when you got these huge universities with these alumni bases all throughout the country that'll watch those games, that's what they want, man. And yeah, it's gonna be it's we are gonna have a two-tiered system amongst Division 1A. Honestly, though, ever since we've been in the playoff era, it's surprising to me like how few teams have actually like made the playoffs, and everything. And it's like the same few squads anyway, even with only 4 teams. They're going to wind up expanding it. But yeah, man, college football, it's crazily top heavy, man. Crazy
Yeah,
top heavy.
and that's where I think it should at least be 10 teams, because even what happened last year, like, when I talked to other fans from different things, and at the end of the day, I like, let's the fans wanted something better. I understand Michigan caught us in the wintertime, but did anybody really think Michigan was going to win? Did anybody really think Cincinnati is going to win? Is it right to be fair, or do you want the real game? So I was like, that's why we need to expand it, because what they try to do the right thing, but nobody thought Michigan or Cincinnati was going to win those games.
I thought Michigan, it would have been tough. They at least had some pro talent at that DN spot with Hutchinson and all that. They if he'd have went crazy, maybe. Cincy, yeah, that's tough. Although they're about as good as a quote unquote mid-major program as there is.
Yeah.
But you talking who they match up against? Alabama? Is that who they play
Yeah, but
in in the
with
playoff?
Alabama, it didn't matter. Yeah, it didn't matter. Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
right.
think it
I
was
think it
Bama,
was. It didn't matter either.
so
Hoover didn't match up. Yeah, they had no shot either way.
yeah, it's
I
tough.
know it's a beautiful story, but at the end of the day, though, we knew that wasn't
Now,
going to be was going
now,
to happen.
now the flip side of that, you keep giving them shots or whatever. One day we are going to have an upset like that, and it's going to be historic, and
Yeah,
everybody's going to talk about it. But yeah,
yeah.
it's tough.
That's why I rather like the top 2 or the top 4 maybe get a bye and just get like at least 10 teams in there, because
Hmm.
you want a team to have them play somebody. Let's see at the end of the season where they at. I'm saying, like, so we had a lot of close teams there.
Hmm.
Even the Wake Forest it was crazy there with everybody coming out thing. And then, of course, Notre Dame, the one losing to Cincinnati, even giving them where I guess the right props to even get that to ride that. It's like, one thing they got to do is to win the rest of their conference. They beat Notre Dame, sure. Of course,
Hmm.
they should win the rest of their conference. I mean, it was like, are you kidding me? People are like surprised by it. I'm like, are you kidding me? And they beat knock out Notre Dame even on a bad day. They should win the rest of their conference. Like, we act like this is something that they should not be doing.
Hmm.
So, that's what I'm saying. Like, we put them in the playoffs. Even if you want to get them a first round bye, then that next round, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
We just need more teams. 4 teams ain't good enough, because, like I said, Ohio State, Bama, Clemson, then whoever, from the Oklahomas to whoever good that next year,
Right. Right.
Oregon, Baylor, whoever they want to put in there. So that's why I need to be longer than 4 games. We got to get at least to 10.
It'll expand after
Because I think
this
the
next
money
deal runs out.
says it's ready to expand.
Oh yeah.
I think they want to keep it short, but the money's saying it's ready to expand.
College football, man. It's not when we was going through. That's for darn sure, boy. It's not
Right.
the same. All right, fellas, I appreciate the time. I'm gonna hit stop recording now. And we appreciate you all putting this down on wax. Hope to see some people will benefit from it. I'm sure they will. So we'll